Hey, welcome to the 10-Minute Daily Reality Check. Today is a subject that is going to, I don't know the best way to put it. It's either going to make your skin crawl. It's either going to make you say, yes, David, I agree with you. It's going to make you pass it around to every single person that's abusing the system out there. And for all you parents, it's going to get you to rethink about what you're doing with your children. Now, today on the podcast, I've got Kate Rose. Kate Rose is like one of my favorite people. If I only lived within 400 miles of her, I probably would have taken her out on many dates. She is an absolute beautiful, heartfelt writer. If you read her stuff, you feel her stuff. This woman is on a quest for love, romance, truth, honesty. It almost sounds like Superman. Maybe she's Supergirl. But if she was around the corner from me, I'll tell you something, I would have been knocking on her door with a dozen roses every single day just to be in her presence for 1 hour, because she's that heartfelt of a person. And I think in today's world where people are swiping and typing and lying and manipulating, it's good to have people like Kate Rose. Kate, welcome to the show.
Hi, David. How are you?
I am good. It's been way too long.
Yes, it has. Way too long. I apologize for that.
I know, but I always stay persistent because that is what a male should do.
Yes, you do, and patient.
Yes, a male should stay patient and persistent. If a male thinks a woman is absolutely spectacular and amazing, instead of giving up on her, just continue to pop back into her life every so often and have empathy and compassion for where she's at, because you never know where she might be or what might happen in the future. Who knows? So Kate, who lives 2,483 miles directly away from me on pin drop. Let's talk about single moms today. You're a single mom. You've been separated for how long?
I've been separated for about 3 years, a little bit longer, but officially separated for 3 years with my ex-husband out of my home.
Okay. And you work, right?
I work and I love what I do, but it never stops. Yes.
Right. And you know that working is something that we should not all avoid, because there's a single mom out there. I see them around Los Angeles a lot, and I'm sure you see them in Boston. They're called the iPhone moms. And they're their mom on their big oversized iPhone with their well-manicured nails. They hop into the Range Rover that they didn't pay for. They go from appointment to appointment during the day, keeping themselves busy until they have to either A, pick their kids up from school, or if their appointments of beautifying and taking care of their iPhone and everything else let them run a little late, their nanny will pick up the kids. They're women that feel self-entitled because they married somebody, and once they married them, they feel self-entitled to have whatever life they were given during the short term of the marriage, which includes money and benefits and everything else. Those iPhone moms scare me, Kate, for a lot of different reasons, because as you know, we both have children. The lessons that we teach our children are lessons that they see and observe. They don't conceptualize things at all. They don't understand why mommy doesn't work. They just see mommy doing pleasurable things. So in turn, what does it do you think moving forward? Because here you're a hard worker, you're writing and you're working with people and you're coaching and you're doing all this stuff. What is that lesson that you're trying to instill in your kids when they see you?
I already see it in them. If you ask either one of my daughters what they want to be when they grow up, they don't list one thing. They'll say, well, mommy has 3 jobs, so we're going to have 3 jobs, and this is what we're going to do. And this is how we're going to give back to the world. This is how we're going to make it a better place. And that's truly what I want to instill. When I've looked at this, I've always anticipated I'm not raising children. Raising children, what does that even mean? We raise livestock, we raise children. It's never really been a concept that I've wanted to grasp. For me, I'm raising amazing young women. I don't merely want to raise somebody into adulthood, someone who gets some sort of job or marries someone and just lives off of them. I truly want to raise young women who inspire others, who feel that they have it within their ability, no matter what they do within this life, to create change and to make the world a better place, and that it's not some large, grand scheme, abstract thought, but that each in our own way, we do have that capability if we can actually believe that we do. And so that's been a really big lesson that I want them to see. I also believe in showing children that we have to work for what we get, that nothing is given to us, nor should anything be given to us, that we are all capable of receiving the same things. We're all capable of greatness. We're all capable of financial abundance, but we need to work for what we get.
I love that. And that's absolutely beautiful, because if you think about your childhood and my childhood, right, which we did not have together. But if you think about the way we grew up as kids, it wasn't the words that we remember as much as the action of our parents. Like, I remember my mother always laying under her electric blanket, depressed. It wasn't the words that she said. I just know my mom was disconnected. It's a feeling that I had at all times. So my relationships have always been relationships saving the damsel in distress who's under the electric blanket, right? I remember my father always getting money from my grandparents over and over again. He was enabled. So a lot of my relationships when I had money, was enabling people who needed money, constantly enabling them, because that's what I saw. I was never able to really put the words to it until I had my daughter. And I realized it's not it's not the conversations we have. You're 100% right. It's what we are teaching and showing them. And your daughters are seeing a mom that is separated from her husband. They're seeing a mom that's got a work ethic, that's building something that's full of integrity and honesty. And you're 100% right. You're showing them the way the world works. Now, for all these iPhone moms that are sitting around and doing absolutely nothing but living off of one man to the next man, you know what you're showing? They're showing their daughter, hey, this is how it's done. We go, we get divorced, we get a clump of money, we're never really working, our kids don't know what we do all day long, then a new man moves in, and then all of a sudden the new man is always whipping out the credit card to pay for things, and the new man is constantly, paying for everything that they do together. And what it looks like is, that's my mom. My mom lived off of men instead of my mom teaching me the regular lessons. So this kid goes into the world and she becomes, basically a gold digger. They're basically breeding junior gold diggers. So I think we just found the origin of gold diggers right now today on the show.
Well, the thing is, too, we don't want to sentence people, because clearly you and I did not become our childhood either.
No.
And as much as our childhoods teach us who we want to be, they also teach us who we don't want to be. And my daughters, they'll tell me, I want to be exactly like you when I grow up. And I'm like, no, you're going to be better than me. That's my goal. I want you better than me. I don't want you the same as me. I want you better than me. And I'm also very honest with them. We talk and they say, there's no one better than you in the world. And I'm like, I make mistakes. I'm not perfect. I get upset on a Wednesday night when I got a whole lot of stuff to do, and I got stuff going. I'm like, I raise my voice too. I am not perfect. But the one thing that they have said that I do agree with is they both have said, I am always there. And I think ultimately, whether you are married, whether you're co-parenting, whether you're single, whether you're a widower, being there is literally the single most important thing that you can do for your children, because there's no way that you're going to give them that example or show them those lessons if you're not there, if you're not present.
It's interesting. We don't become our childhood, but we definitely battle the demons from childhood.
Yes, we do. Oh, full on. And some of us never escape them, which is true. Yep. Some of us never escape them, but we do battle them. And, so many adults, they think that the term childhood wounds or, Samuel, conditioning is just new age terms, when in reality, they're so closely tied to who we become and who we choose to become.
Well, it's interesting because those childhood wounds that I had definitely lasted for 20 years in my adulthood. I was consistently getting involved in situations that I was programmed to get involved in by the things I saw from my parents. And I would constantly make mistakes over and over again by doing that. It really was the last couple of years where I started realizing, I don't need to do this anymore. I'm a totally, I'm my own person. And I was becoming more self-aware about it. And it took a lot of work. And I think a lot of people don't realize, they blame, and it's so funny. There was a friend of mine who had a kid, and his kid started getting into drugs, and he couldn't figure out what it was all about. He says, I don't do drugs. And I looked at him, I said, your wife does them nonstop. She's constantly doing Vicodin. She's constantly drinking. She's constantly doing wine. He said, but She doesn't do it around the kid. Excuse me, he never sees her drinking a glass of wine every single night. He never walks into the bathroom when she's popping a pill. Of course he does. So he sees that, and that's how he thinks he copes with things. It's what children see is how we're affecting it. And we can trace that all back to our childhood, to the childhood wounds. And I think as parents, we owe it to our kids. And there's a great quote, Kate, that somebody told me. We owe it to our kids not to fuck them up. We owe it to our kids just to show them a great role model, because they're going to fuck things up anyway. But at least we show them what a role model is all about. And that's a model, not just words.
And that's the thing too, is I think as you get older, you understand that, you hear those words are meaningless. It's all about actions. And it's the same thing with being a parent. We can tell our children that we love them, that we're here for them, that we would do anything for them, to do the right thing. But if they don't actively see us making those same choices, then they're not going to make them as well. It's all about what we show them. And, especially with I have 2 daughters, so I'm very cognizant about body image. For me, that's a very big example for me to set for them, and how I want them to view themselves and their sexuality as they grow up and how they feel about their bodies. And so all of this is really and truly what we show them. We could tell them what we want, we can hope and pray, but in the end, if we're not living up to the same standards that we hope they will, then they don't stand a chance of actually knowing what to do when they do grow up.
Yeah, it's amazing. I mean, there's so many things that we can talk about this, because it's such a volatile topic. The iPhone moms usually read the parenting books, follow this thing, but they don't work on themselves at all. And I think children are here not for us to manipulate or control. Children are here for us to look directly in the mirror and ask ourselves, what lessons do we need to learn from our children to be a much better role model for them? I mean, I know with my daughter, I don't push her or micromanage her or tell her that, blue would look better in her artwork. If she wants to put yellow next to brown in an art piece, I'm like, you know what? That's a great color choice. It's your choice. I teach her to make her own choices.
It's autonomy. You're teaching her autonomy at a young age, which is absolutely what you should be doing.
Well, Kate, this is awesome. Okay. I think single parents need to pass this podcast around. I think mothers that are doing this, I hope you got angry and hope you got pissed off right now, and hope you learned something, and maybe you'll look in the mirror and maybe your reality will change. Okay. As you bounce from man to man and you show your daughters that it's okay just to live off of other people, I want you to think about what your daughter or what your son is going to see. Even a son, forget about daughters, but a son sees that, and look what he sees. I know I've coached many men out there that have just issues about women. Why? Because their mother went from one man to the next man. It didn't really work. So they don't trust women at all, because they think all women just take money from men, because that's what they saw their mother doing. So Kate, where can people find your fantastic, beautiful, heartfelt writing and information? How can they reach you?
Well, I have Words of Kate Rose, which is my personal website. I also am on Elephant Journal, and I love when people find me on Facebook as well. So it's Kate Rose, Words of Kate Rose. Type in anything and I am there.
Perfect. Kate, we're going to bring you back tomorrow. I want to talk about, you write a lot about him,
Him, huh?
Yeah, you write about bringing him in and what it feels like to be claimed, and what it feels like to be desired by him before him even comes into your life, what it feels like to let go. I think men need to hear tomorrow's podcast, because they need to understand women better. And I think women need to realize what vulnerable and sexy is all about, because, wow, I read your words and I got to tell you something. I'm charged up. I just want to go run a marathon. I mean, they're beautiful. I mean, it's better than any romance novel I've ever read. And I got to tell you, some of your writing is even better than my romantic writing, which I can't believe. And I'm like,
I was going to say, I can't believe you're saying that. Come on.
I know. I put you up on a pedestal. But come tomorrow for more self-help that doesn't suck. David Wygant out for the 10-minute daily reality check. Spread this podcast around. Let's hope some single moms learn from this one.